Dude,
And
can we have a communal moo? Can we just all moo in unison, please? I just need to fucking moo.
wait, where's Meg?
She's right here.
Oh,
You
I
don't
only
see
see.
her?
So,
That's weird.
did
Okay, so maybe because I'm on my phone, I can only see like the person talking.
If you
wait a
swipe,
minute.
I think you should be able to see all two of us.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Hey!
All right.
I,
How is everyone?
I'm good.
That's a
Meg?
lie.
uh,
No, I'm good. You know when you're like I'm at the point where like it's great being on vacation, but I'm fucking starving and tired all the time, so it's not as vacation-y as you want to like do all the things and then also feel totally beat, but it is what it is.
I feel that. So are you're
well, you look
dieting?
nice and beachy.
Thank you. Well, it's actually kind of cold right now. I'm a little disappointed. We got here Monday and it was like nice, but by the time we got outside and stuff, it was like 4 o'clock. Yesterday, Tuesday poured all day, like the entire day. And
Mm.
then yesterday was the first nice day we've had, and I leave tomorrow.
Remind me where you're at again?
Miami.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you guys really like to go to Miami. So is there a certain place that you go every single time, or do you like to like mix it up?
Yeah, we've been staying pretty much at the same place, the W. It's just really nice because it's close to like a decent gym and like all the like walking things and all of that. And for us, it's only a 3 hour flight. So like, say I want to go to Cancun or something like that, it's like 5 hours, and it's a lot harder when you're in another country because coincidentally, the last well, 2 times or whatever that we've come, I've been on prep.
Right.
It's so much easier. Like there was a Target right down the street. I went and I spent $40 and I got, I'll show you guys this little like mini air fryer. So I've been
It's
able to like
Is it
cook.
actually a mini air fryer, or is
Yeah,
you're so small it looks like a normal size?
no, it's a 3 quart. The normal ones I have are like six. But it was only $40. So like as opposed to eating like soggy ass cold food, it's been great.
Yo, that's what I did. Like legit when we were up in Ohio for the emergency thing with my family, like we like to normally stay at homes too, like those extended stays that usually
Mhm.
travel nurses are hooked up at. But there was either not enough accommodations for our entire stay, or it was going to be $1,000 for
Mm.
4 nights. And I was like, nah. So we literally went to an extended suite. And when I tell you this was like a fucking college dorm, like
Mm.
phones, like no coffee maker. We had to buy our own
Really?
pudding. Like we had to buy a
Wow.
box of like a plate, a spoon, like we had to buy that, right? And it was like bare bones in it and different levels of this hotel. Since I had to do like cardio and had to just adapt on the fly. Floor one smelled like wet dog.
Yeah. So
Floor two smelled like Marlboros or Camels, so like cigarettes.
Mhm.
Floor three, which is my floor, smelled like bacon and eggs, so we lucked out.
Okay.
And then right, so then and the floor four was like this is the weirdest floor. This was where it was like mint toothpaste and weed. I was like, I don't know if dentists were getting high or what the fuck was happening, but this was
Okay.
like the weirdest freaking step. And like I said, we made it work, but I was like, what's weird is like there were police officers staying because it was like the canine unit. And I
Mm.
was like, yeah, you go up to the fourth floor and it just ranks of weed. And I was like, love that for us.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this one's actually pretty cool. It's, I mean, well, the W is a really nice hotel in general, but they have like a mini fridge that's like almost half of the size of a normal fridge. It's pretty big
Yeah.
and microwave, but like when you're making my life is pretty much potatoes now. I'm no longer at rice. That you don't want microwave potatoes. That's kind of nasty. And I also learned a lesson. So this is the first time I've ever traveled, and all you guys take this into consideration too. So I like grilled food and cooked food and all that and froze it because I didn't know how long I'd have
Sure.
before getting to the hotel. So when you freeze your food after it's cooked, like when you're reheating it, it's disgusting.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
it's not good, but
For
like
It's
sure.
stink. So that's why I was like, I'm getting an air fryer. I don't give a shit. I was initially prepared to pay for a normal one, but
mhm.
no, not going to do that.
I got that. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I just left all of my meal prep to like my starches were just rice cakes. Like I just overdosed on rice cakes and had fresh fruit because I wasn't even going to bother with like the rice. Like Eric got
Mhm.
like the 90-second rice pouches, but I was like, I'll just fucking go to Aldi, like it was right by
Mhm.
our place, and I'll just like overload on rice cakes and just keep it as simple as fucking possible because it's also more travel friendly than like
Yeah.
always carrying a meal prep container, especially like in the hospital, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta do what you gotta do. And I feel like
Yep.
sometimes when you travel, especially if it's like not expected travel, you're gonna have all of these hiccups and you can lose yourself to the hiccups and become a hot mess express, or you can be like, time out, what can I actually control to make it like at least doable? And in your case, you bought an air fryer. In my case, like I had so many things that just weren't going right. So it's like, okay, Planet Fitness had a $1 down membership. I took advantage of that. My gym didn't, or my hotel didn't have a fitness center. So I walked up and downstairs and around the fucking hotel. I likely looked like a schizo. I don't care. I did what I needed to do. So it was nothing optimal. No. But when I left Charleston and then came back, I left Charleston at 140 and I came back and I was 132.8. 7 pound drop in a week because I just like didn't lose my fucking self to stress, even though it was one of the most stressful weeks of my entire prep. And I think it is so important that like when you're having to adapt on the fly, to just like give yourself a second to feel what you need to feel, to breathe, and just to like then attack. But I feel like before it would have been like I had all of these problems and like they were like trying to solve every single problem at the same time and nothing got solved and I just ended up overwhelmed and in tears. And I don't know if you guys can relate, but I feel like that's like something that a lot of people can relate to.
For sure. And I would say too that, I mean, I'm speaking from my own personal experience, but I think this is pretty unanimous for most people. But I think that the deeper into prep you get, the higher your anxiety gets, just in general, whether you're using stimulants or like just running on fumes in general, little things that kind of stray you from your norm makes pivoting sometimes a little bit more challenging. And the thing that you can do with that is like just trying to like sit down, like you said, okay, what can I control? What can I do? How do I make this more simple for myself so it's an easy transition? Like even the day that we got here, so I was telling you guys and now everybody, but we had scheduled a lift the night before, knowing that we had like I think our flight was at 5:50 a.m. to come here. So that meant, which is also 30 minutes from my house to get to the airport, we needed to get picked up by like quarter 4 in the morning. So you book that ahead of time to know you get a ride, and they never showed up. So it's now 4:15 in the morning, and our flight is like an hour and a half from now. We're both like, "Fuck! Like, what do we
Yeah,
do?" And it was like friggin' Home Alone Christmas to the point that we were finally like 2 minutes just started boarding by the time we had got there. But same thing, I'm thinking like, what am I gonna do? How are we gonna get there? Blah 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 blah. Like freaking the fuck out. I'm like, wait a second. I'm gonna call Uber. I'm gonna call this person. I'm gonna call that one, and then whichever one answers first, that's where we're going. And that's what we
exactly.
did.
Exactly. And of course, like Meg had to adapt on the fly because Meg moved like she had like a work
That's a big
function.
one.
Yeah, like she had a work function in Tennessee and then she had to go back to Tampa and then she literally moved to South Carolina within like literally the entire last week. So it's of course, oh, she had to, as of course, I'm sure her Wi-Fi is spotty as hell. But like legit, even she had her own challenges. But like again, all three of us are in prep right now or in dieting, right? We are either dieting or we are in a dieting phase for a show, depending upon like where we're at, right? So it's one of those things where it's like it's going to require you to adapt and to pivot, right? That much remains to be seen, whether it is expected travel or whether it's unexpected travel or expected moving, right? All of these things required us to plan ahead and to prioritize what mattered to us, right? So, like, if I speak from my own personal experience, what I prioritized when I was at that family emergency, I made sure that I had food. And so it's like I made sure that we had time to go to the grocery store so I could prep meals in advance. And I didn't have enough meal prep containers because we literally boxed up everything that we could in 20 minutes and we were on the road. So I didn't think pack meal prep containers. So we had to buy some. Not a big deal. Kind of expensive, but a solvable problem. Every single night before I went to bed, I meal prepped all of my meals for
The
that
next day.
next day. So that way, when I spent literally every single time, every single second that I could with my mom in the hospital, I had meals and I had water. And Eric had meals. Eric had water. As far as my cardio, it's like, okay, well, Planet Fitness doesn't open till 7 on the weekend. And I already had
Really?
to, dude, right?
But they
I
were
was
24
like,
hours.
I was like,
Somewhere.
I was like, we got plans, Planet. We got plans. But yeah, so Saturday was no big deal. But again, it didn't make sense to me to drive 15 minutes to do my cardio, drive back to the hotel, eat my pre, pick up Eric, wait an hour and drive back. Like I didn't want to waste essentially 45 minutes of just back and forth. So when I
Yeah.
went to the hotel, I just walked around. Like I did what I needed to do at like a hasting pace. There we go. And, then I came back, ate my pre, and then we went to the gym, right? So that way, again, we were efficient. Was it optimal? Was it according to plan on paper that I've always been doing at home? No, of course not, but I made it work. And then again, since I couldn't do my cardio on Sunday morning or Monday before we left or something like that, where it's like, again, just walking around making it work. So it was one of those things where was everything according to plan, according to paper, perfect? Absolutely not. But given the context and the circumstance, I made the best decision with what I could. And I feel like that is the important thing when it comes to challenges, not only maybe even off season, but especially in a dieting phase, especially in contest prep. Prioritize what makes sense.
Totally. I agree with that 100%. Meg, let's hear from you. Come on, give us some what's
Give
going
us
on in life. We
what's
want
up
to
in
know all
Mega
about.
Land.
Uh, I mean, my life's been pretty chaotic. I mean, but at the same time, it's like I know this last week of prep, personally for me, I did not make progress. I probably regressed. And I agree with everything that you said, Ash. But sometimes even like doing the best that we can, we may not have those weeks where that is enough to progress. I'm happy that still stood your ground and you came back later and made progress. That's awesome. But sometimes, that doesn't happen, even if you are trying to control as much as you can. Like, I tried my hardest with all of this, but I mean, shit, on Monday, the day that we were leaving, and so I got back from Nashville Sunday. I trained, prepped everything. We went, like, packed everything else up. Monday, we had to clean the apartment, pack everything else up, and it took us until like 5 p.m. And in the middle of that, Finn got into, some stuff. He got some melatonin and some other stuff. And he was uncoordinated. He couldn't balance, he couldn't walk, he was throwing up. So we had to wait until he stabilized before we even hit the road. And it's a 10-hour drive. So we drove throughout the night. I got in at literally 5:15 a.m., took a 2-hour nap. I was up, I was ready to go to work and all of this stuff. I had two console calls. So it was just a shit day. And like we've barely unpacked anything. Like my life is just in boxes, really. But I think if we, in these cases, especially with prep, it's like this just goes to show, having more weeks than maybe necessary is good because this definitely got me back 100%. But I still have 16 weeks to make a crazy package. But if I would like pushing the limits here and I only had 6 weeks or 8 weeks, that'd probably fuck me, to be honest. I, I shift our mindset 100%. Like we have to focus on what we can control only, and things that are out of our control. If we do let ourselves stress about those, then it just turns into a freaking spiral, man. And then you're
Yeah.
not hitting your steps, you're not hitting your water, you're not sleeping, you're not thinking right. So yeah, I mean, definitely out of my element right now, but I'm back on like
Oh man,
No worries.
I
But I
knew
would
that
like
was
to,
coming.
yeah, I would like to challenge her saying where it's like I didn't make progress because in my opinion,
I keep bouncing off. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or what, but I keep bouncing off. But yeah, I mean, main thing is just, shift your mindset to control what you can in these
right.
circumstances.
Right. And I would like to just present the argument that to me, maybe you didn't make progress on the scale or from a fat loss perspective, but you didn't give yourself permission to also like lose your head and completely go off plan when it comes to like binging
Oh yeah.
doing drugs
Oh
to
yeah.
food. Like you didn't self-sabotage, right? You
No,
control
yeah.
what you could control. And that to me, maybe you didn't like again lose 7 pounds. You did the best that you could. And to me, that is progress toward a successful week in the future. Like you invested in your future weeks because you did a
Mhm.
good job managing what you could this week. So that to me is how I think it's important
Yeah.
to define progress because if you say, "Oh, it was a shit week. I didn't make progress. I sucked." Like that can really like hurt your heart and fuck with your brain because your brain's telling you that you suck and you're not good enough. At least that's what I tend to do or used to and to where it's like give yourself a timeout, give yourself a pause. I did the best that I could with the circumstance I was presented, and therefore you continued on
Oh yeah.
maybe in the past like oh such a shit week, maybe even pulling out of prep entirely because like you couldn't handle maybe like the voices and the self-doubt and all of these other things and maybe like shooting yourself. So in my eyes, like, maybe you didn't lose fat, but like shit, dude, you moved, you had work stuff, like you did the best that you could with the circumstance, same as me, just different outcomes. But that doesn't mean that you
Yeah.
suck or that like you don't deserve to be in prep. That's just how I see it.
No, yeah, 100%. But like, I'm very realistic when I'm looking at my progress. This week was not a week of progress. My, weight wise, whatever you want to call it, but like sleep was down, recovery's down, inflammation's high, water retention's high. So this wasn't a week of progress from a physical standpoint. But you're right, embracing like the mental progress that can enhance our physical goals here is huge. Like, working on discipline, like you said, like a lot of people would let that little slip turn into a spiral.
Mhm.
Adaptability, being more patient, being more stress resilient, those are all still awesome mental gains. So from the mental side, maybe I did progress, but physically, jack shit with progression. And that's cool. That's fine with me. Like I still have time. I'm definitely not beating myself up about it because damn, traveling for work and then coming right back home and like not even a day later, you're moving. It's like, whew, fuck. But I'm just happy I'm here. I'm happy I'm in the house.
You like
And
it's
yeah, it's
coming
very tough.
together.
Coming together is a bit of a stretch. It's existing. I mean, like we're here. Um, it's just like little shit, like we don't have a trash can. We realized that. I was like, oh fuck. So I bought this like bougie trash can that doubles as like an extra counter space in the kitchen. And then it was like, oh, it could be delivered April 16th or the 22nd, like that time gap. And it chose the 22nd. So I'm like, okay, 2 weeks without a trash can. We got this. Like,
Just use a bag.
so
Fuck it. You'll be fine.
yeah, well, yeah, fuck it. And then Finn, he likes bags. So so like, yeah, we have to like put it up or tie it really tight. He's oh
Uh,
man.
problem
But
child. You have a new problem child.
he really is. But no, I'm loving it here so far. We haven't really been able to explore, which kind of sucks, but this weekend we will definitely. Just kind of getting our bearings right now.
Mm, I feel
Yeah.
that.
Sounds like you need a couple days to just step back from work and all the things and just get
I
your life.
know.
But just say like I'm not. I know you laugh when I say that, but I mean it because if you can just get yourself to like a position where you feel a little bit more organized, you'll be a lot more productive.
Yeah. Definitely. And Saturday, like my check-ins on Saturday are like my contest prep people. So those are typically like easier check-ins. So I can knock them out like that. So I'll have the weekend to do that. But definitely I should have taken off work on Monday because I didn't. I didn't do any work on Monday, but then all of Monday's work went to Tuesday. And then like I was catching up. I still have to catch up today with work. So it's like, oh yeah, I just need some life days.
This
No
this is
work.
honest. This is the first time we've gone on vacation that I was like, I unless you're in fucking prep, I'll talk
Yeah.
to you when I get home. I had
Good.
so
That's a good
well.
boundary.
Usually I have all of my like lifestyle clients check in Mondays and Tuesdays, and I wrote them all a message in my group chat, and I said, I am not gonna like not have you check in for a week because you pay, monthly packages, whatever. That's not fair to you. What I'm gonna say is this: you get me your check in by Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning, or we'll talk the next week. I'm giving you this
Hmm.
opportunity. Take advantage of it. I'll do whatever you need the day before I leave, but leave me alone Monday through Friday.
I think that's fair. I get it. I get it when we are like, oh, but they pay,
Yeah.
month to month. They do, that's part of the payment. But we do have to kind of have boundaries too.
Yeah.
Like, I used to not take off on Christmas or Thanksgiving. Now I'm like, Meg, what the fuck? Like, I'm still accessible if they're having like some crazy crisis, but like typically, I'm not saying this to be like a dick, but like typically a lot of like the outbursts that clients come to you with, it's just they have to kind of like let themselves process it, get back on their shit, and then the next day it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I could offer some accountability support, some, words of wisdom, but like they know what to do. It's just they feel very overwhelmed in the moment. And I think that's why they like reach out right away. But I think all of us are really good with making sure that our clients aren't they're more self-reliant than
Mhm.
like leaning on us. Maybe in the beginning it's a little dicey,
Yeah.
but I think that's what we work on with our clients a lot. So I think when we take these vacations, I don't think it's a thing. It's
That's
healthy
that's definitely
boundaries, 100%.
that's definitely something that I feel like I'm still working to improve with. You know, it's only been
Yeah.
about now it's a little like a year and a quarter, we'll call it, that I've been on my own. And I think that when I made the transition of like being my own business, I had this like kind of warped perception of like I need to make everyone happy and whatever that takes, I'm gonna do it. And
Hmm.
definitely lost
Yeah.
my own needs
Mhm.
in that process. And I didn't really
100%.
realize that until I was starting to want to do something for myself that was a little bit more involved with like, and I know I haven't really openly told people this,
Hmm.
but like going back into a contest prep as I am pretty much 7 weeks out, some 7, 9 somewhere. We'll decide a little closer. Um, but I realized like, holy shit, I've been running on fucking fumes for the last year and a quarter, and it's put a lot of
Hmm.
stress on my relationship with Josh too, because I will be answering things on my phone until I'm going to bed, and then the first thing in the morning I'm replying to people. It was nonstop, and like we kind of like sat down and have a conversation about this because like I was feeling super anxious and overwhelmed and all of that unnecessarily. Like there can still be like windows of time and boundaries and all of that, and I was neglecting keeping to those boundaries. So it's not their fault, it's my fault. And that's why I put
Yeah.
down like a hard get this to me by Sunday. I'm stepping away. I need this for my mental health because I was finally getting to the point where I'm like, I love what I do, but I'm feeling burnt out as fuck. And
Yeah.
I knew that if I didn't, I would start to feel like resentful.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no point in being your
Definitely.
boss if you hate what you do.
Exactly. And I
But
love what I
Yeah.
do. That's the thing is I love it so much that I want to do it all the time. But like there's still that need for self space.
absolutely. I mean, like anyone
Hmm.
that has a job, like they're gonna want time off to be human and to spend time with loved ones and spend time doing things that brings them love and joy. And like any reasonable human being would want that, right? It's like I think it's very rare that there are actually clients and athletes out there that are like, I expect you to have 24/7 communication because like if that's the truth, then like it's not an issue with the coach. It's the issue with the client not trusting even them own selves outside of like working hours. And like that's a great thing for therapy to unpack, right? That anxious attachment style is like really important to address, right? And that's something that I even had to address and making sure that like I didn't need to be needed because then your anxieties right? And then like you feel like you can't put your phone down. You have to have notifications on because you don't want to miss anything. And in reality, what you end up missing is your life. And like that is like not a fun way to live.
But I came into like you don't realize it too, like when you're in the heat of it. And then slowly been trying to unpack things because, like you guys know, I've been to all these different doctors, and why did I have this panic attack, and why am I getting these dizziness episodes, and all of these type of things. And like, as much as I wanted to say it was this problem or that problem, I don't think that was the case. I think it's more of a combined of many different things, and starting to peel that
Hmm.
all away myself because I've been to a friggin' ENT, eye doctors, um, neurologist, all of it, and everyone's like, we don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, I've seen enough very well educated medical professionals. If nobody knows that there's something inner that's also contributing to this, because that's been autoimmune flares for me too.
Yep. About that. I started reading this book of how to stop
Yeah.
working and start living. And they literally, one of the premises was this guy was like literally overworking himself to death. And he had all of these like health ailments. And like doctors were just like, you literally have 2 weeks to live. And so this guy like got all of his affairs in order and was just like bedbound for 2 weeks. And because he had decided to like give up and like settle his account so that way like his family would be taken care of, but he gave himself literally 2 weeks to just like lay in bed and sleep and pause and give himself a timeout. And he started to feel better because it was one of those things he was literally working himself to the bone,
Mhm.
stressing out about like every little thing. He forgot to stress about the right things and give himself a fucking break, right? And as human beings, while yes, it's good to be like a go-getter and to have goals and ambitions, absolutely. I'm not saying be a lazy sack. You need to have the idea and the mentality of focus on today and yes, plan for tomorrow so that way you are successful in, not even just like a contest prep scenario, but like financially, marriage, relationships, friendships, like looking forward to the future and be excited for it, but not worrying about it. Because worrying about it just takes away from right now, right? And then like when tomorrow
Mhm.
comes, worrying about the next day, like it's just like constant negativity and constant like war inside your brain. It's like literally the superpower of giving yourself peace is to be present and to focus on one thing at a time, what's in front of you.
Yep, totally. And that
Yeah.
changes over time
That's
too,
yeah.
Mhm.
as to what, is
Mhm.
really important to you or how you feel about things. And like, I don't know, it's easy to forget that you need to check in on yourself too, to kind of like ask those type of questions. I've had
Mhm.
a really weird experience with this entire prep dieting phase and all of that. It's been interesting from having spent so many times in competition prep and dieting and all of that, from just like the sole goal of like wanting to be smaller. And now that I don't feel like that, not that I'm not motivated, but like the drive for it is like different. I don't know how to explain it because I don't feel like I want to like self punish or anything like that. And I even like the last prep I did like 2 years ago was definitely still on the way out of disordered thoughts and relationships with food and all and exercise and all that stuff. But like I feel so far removed from it now that like there's a little part of me that's like, do I want to do this again? And I think that that's kind of been an interesting experience.
I think you were so filled with anxiety and like maybe even past like eating disorder type tendencies where like if you didn't feel that your drive and motivation was 150% every single fucking day that you sucked and were a failure versus now it's like now that you have a good head on your shoulders and like you're doing this because you want to and you want to do things right, it may seem like you're less intense, but in reality when you've done this for so long, it's another day in the office and you have fun and you're focusing on other areas, not just again like only being a bodybuilder and only being in contest prep. You're enjoying other areas of your life to the point where you're like on vacation right now. It's like I think it is so cool the fact that you're able to just like ride the wave versus feeling like you're drowning. Because I know like in my first contest prep, because I didn't know what to expect and didn't have a physique worth presenting and didn't maybe have the right guidance, like I didn't know what to expect. And so it was so overwhelming. And I had so much pressure of a show date where I just was again 150% just not understanding or accepting like any warning signs. And I missed out on a lot of time to just be present and be a person that, it did hurt my marriage, it did hurt my friendships. I, had a shit relationship with food. Like I had all of these problems and it was because of my own hand. So like the
Yeah.
ability to like give yourself a timeout, which is what I love to do. I love to put myself in a fucking timeout. Like it has helped me immensely, right? Because think of a toddler, right? Toddlers having a tantrum, what are they doing? They are overwhelmed. They are emotional, right? They just need to feel what they need to feel. So you give them a timeout so they can calm down. But somewhere along the way, when we became adults, like, yeah, I get not wanting to scream on the floor and pound your fist, but like, still the ability to give yourself a timeout so you can feel and process helps you to move through what you need to do and not just snuff it and stuff it down because then you really get overwhelmed and things just like a
Yeah,
freaking
that's fair. That's fair. And I think that to the more removed and I'm sure all of you guys can agree with this too, that we've gotten to like more normalcy,
Mhm.
the easier preps become. Like it doesn't like I don't know. This doesn't feel I don't even feel like I'm in prep. Like yeah, I'm eating a little bit less, I'm a little bit more tired, but like I'm not thinking about it all day long. It's not like taking over my life.
Mhm.
I think it's because we created a lifestyle out of this. A lot of people come to us and like they have, high aspirations of competing maybe, or maybe they just think I want to give this a shot. This is kind of like a bucket list thing. And looking at it as a bucket list item, that's like a total zero to like 100 kind of flip. Like it's total
Mm.
180 there, going from what their lifestyle is now to going into a contest prep. That's why I always try to solidify like a good, solid improvement season with people, really making this a lifestyle. Because going into prep, switching from your last day of off season to your first day of prep should not be a struggle. It
No,
should not even feel like it's just a different day.
yep.
You may, like you said,
Start
okay,
tapering your
sure,
food.
food will eventually go
Yeah.
down. Yeah, food goes down, cardio goes up, nothing else fucking changes. And it's because people are so consumed with having to make like prep so intense and so like rigid and structured that they lose themselves in the process and they lose the sight of like why the hell they're even doing this in the first place. And then they spiral and then they hate prep and then they resent bodybuilding and then they turn into health coaches that bash bodybuilding. So yeah, I really try to like make sure that I solidify this as a lifestyle. And then if you show me that you can handle this lifestyle, then we can consider prep. But if you're fucking loosey goosey and like you can't even like, eat your high calorie meals and stay consistent in your off season, that makes me like think, is prep even right for this individual?
I mean, is
Um,
bodybuilding even right for this individual?
is yeah, like
Often not,
I don't know.
honestly.
And yeah, often not.
I
Prep
feel
is
like
definitely not for everybody. Not everybody should compete.
well, people have no problem turning on the like eating more, pushing harder, even taking drugs. But then when it's to
Yeah,
go the
yeah,
opposite way, to even have
opposite.
like a phase that not even necessarily a point that they're dieting, but like a health phase or anything that requires consistency that
Hmm.
isn't so like instant gratification. Nah, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah,
And it's just like, the fuck do you
yeah,
mean you don't know if you want to do that? Like, I see that a
dude.
lot lately.
And people, yeah, I do too. And people really think, I don't know why they think this, but they think that fat loss is easy. It's not easy. Like losing weight, sure, that's easy. But then when you get to the depths of prep where you have to lose fucking fat when you're already lean, you're not going to feel great. And
No.
like that's when like having those really solid like anchors almost like holding you mentally and physically down is going to be important. So I don't know. I think everybody's more realistic now. Like they understand that preps won't be like cakewalk the whole time. But dang, I don't know.
You know what else has been an interesting one for me for so
Mm,
this off season is by far the most food I ever ate,
yeah,
right?
that's
And
awesome.
there was definitely a part of me that was like, well, maybe I won't have to like diet as hard to
Right?
get as lean. Yeah, no, that doesn't fucking work like that.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, it doesn't
Nope.
Yeah.
always work. It's not a foolproof system because like bodies aren't foolproof.
No.
There's just like the way that I think is a good mentality to look at food and training and expenditure, whether it's steps or cardio, is like these are just like little levers and toggles to pull. And like, I know it's like, oh, well, shorter people have to like it's people like want an answer as to why things are just hard. And
Yeah.
like that's me. That's me. Like I had a fucking hard day today. I'm gonna own that. And I was like, I don't understand why this is so hard. And Eric looked at me and he said the best thing I heard all day outside of Julie and I's pep talk. He's like, sometimes things are just hard. And I was
Facts.
Yeah.
like,
Fucking facts.
holy shit, right? And it's one of those things where you want a justification or you want an answer because you want either something to blame or someone to blame, right?
Yeah.
And for
Mhm.
me, I wanted to blame myself because I think I'm bad when things don't go. So to be vulnerable and to give an example, Like, I was so excited to train today because I haven't trained since Sunday just due to all of the fucking shit that I went through. And I was excited. I went to physical therapy yesterday. Like, my body was feeling good. And when I got into the gym, what I thought was going to be like to the nines wasn't. And then when I went and posed, it wasn't where I wanted it to be. And I thought I was bad. I was to blame. I fucking suck. And in reality, it's not about who's to blame. It's about taking responsibility. Even though I couldn't give my best today in terms of 100%, I tried my best, right? So it's acknowledging that I still showed up. I did what I could, and that it's going to be okay, right? Like at the end of the day, you are going to be okay. And it's just accepting that mentally. So that way, a hard, I don't know, 20 minutes doesn't turn into a hard 20 hours. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like,
Yeah.
that's the art of like letting go, of feeling what you need to feel, cry if you need to cry, give yourself a timeout and just let it go.
Yeah.
I
I
don't think
mean, prep, oops, sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Prep, it makes us very hypercritical of ourselves. You know, every little thing does matter in the grand scheme of things, though. You know, having this little bit of a slip, having a little bit less than ideal training session, you know, that's not going to make or break you in the moment. So I think if we like put our little coaching hat on and like talk to ourselves how we would talk to a client if they were going through that, it would work out so much better. But right in the moment, we're just like, ah, fuck, like I suck, like this sucks, like, and everything is just negative, negative, negative. But if we just kind of talk to ourselves like a coach and not like a critic, we
Yeah.
would be able to just move on quicker. But I know it's definitely when one bad thing happens, it feels like everything bad is happening. But I love that, like Eric said, because I needed that today too, with how everything's gone this week for sure.
Yeah, sometimes it's just fucking hard. And like I
It's
did try the
hard.
coach's hat thing. I was like, oh, what would I say to an athlete? And I still wanted to punch myself in the face. So I was like, okay, well, that one didn't work.
I'd still
That
punch him.
that one didn't work today. So it's like, and again, it's like I tried my best. I didn't do my best because I couldn't give it. And it's
Yeah.
like, damn, what a sense of comfort knowing that I still fucking tried even though I could have just like left the gym or not even posed. Like, yeah, it wasn't the best session.
Mhm.
Thank God and hope to God I have Saturday and Sunday to try again. I have a posing session Sunday. I get to try again. And it's like the whole point is trying and showing up. And I know that's super cliche where showing up's half the battle, but dude, sometimes it fucking is, especially when you come off such a heightened week, whether you are
Mhm.
thrown out of your element with a family emergency or your life is disrupted due to travel or you're moving. Like all of these scenarios, all of us right now are out of our element, but yet we're trying anyway and showing up. And like that
Yeah.
does count for something.
I think the biggest thing you
100%.
have to remember in these type of situations is it's an accumulative effort in
Yeah.
total from start to finish, and that's something that I really try to press with athletes too, because you're not going to have a great day every single day, but what you are going to be able to do is put the best effort forward that you can each and every single day, and that accumulative effort is going to get you to your final destination. I have a couple people
Yeah.
that I've had that exact talk with lately because I feel like they're giving like 50%. You can't expect 100% results if you're only giving a 50% effort.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. And I mean, some days, like maybe our 100% is actually like 80% of what our true 100 is. But if we
Yes.
give that 80 versus just saying, ah, fuck it, like fuck this shit, give me some little W's, like, you know,
Give me some little
Big
we're still
Deborah.
making progress, baby. But
Debbie's.
yeah, I mean, in prep, we just go 0 to 100 in our mind very quickly
Mhm.
because, you know, we do want to be in control 100%. And like prep, I would say, you know, every week is necessary for sure.
And you need
But
you need those people in your corner too that kind of like keep
oh
your
yeah,
head
to
on.
like call yourself out, man.
Honestly, our conversation last week when I was like kind of like, I don't know if this is a good idea, and you're like, it definitely isn't a good idea. I'm like, sweet, that's two of us. We're on the same page. I'm going with that.
Great. I'm glad that helped.
You
No,
need
I
that though.
yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah,
that
definitely.
support system is like invaluable because like obviously like I heavily relied on you guys over this past week. Like you both checked in on me. Like that meant the world, even though there's nothing you could like physically do for my family. You sent good vibes, prayed, whatever. And like that's what I needed, right? I needed that support, knowing that like while I was taking care of my family and Eric and myself to the best of my ability, it was still nice
Hmm.
to know that like I had friends that had my back. And there were definitely a lot of friends that showed up when like they needed to. And that was definitely, like I said, that was overwhelming in its own way because like you have people that like you talk to, but like when shit hits the fan, when things are hard, you definitely can tell who shows the fuck up by who is present. And I think that
Yeah.
speaks a lot of value and a lot of volumes. And I do appreciate you ladies for stepping it up for me, even though you have and always will have your own lives to attend to.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I mean, that's what true friends and true support is all about, you
Yeah.
know? It's about not being selfish and just kind of, even if it is just like a text, like saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about you, man." Like, shit's gonna be hard, but like you'll get through this kind of thing. Like those little messages can make or break somebody's entire day. So, and something kind of similarly on that topic, in prep, I feel like we were talking about, we can get really hypercritical and we can think like, oh my God, my I don't know, I only had 50 grams of blueberries. I was supposed to have 100 grams, and we can lose our complete shit over that. And maybe we do get a little bit too anal about certain things and stress ourselves out about those. But if you go to your support system and you say that, and then they say like why the fuck are you worried? Like, and they kind of downplay your stress instead of like try to bring you up and try to like open your eyes to like look at the bigger picture. I would revisit who's in your support circle. In prep, maybe we do get a little bit crazy about certain things, but like your support structure, your friends should be able to calm you down and like make you realize like you're not crazy about like being stressed about this little incident. Like this, it means that it means a lot to you. But I think sometimes in my past, when I would be stressing out in prep, I would go to certain people and they would kind of like be like, why are you stressed? There's fucking people dying. Like, I get it. Like, it's not that, like, when
Doesn't
Kim
need to.
Kardashian, when she lost her diamond ring in
Yeah,
the ocean,
there are people
there are
dying,
people
Kim.
dying, Kim. Like, that's what I felt like. But, like, I feel like in prep, like, sometimes, dude, our brain works in weird ways.
Not
So,
even that, but it doesn't need to be a catastrophe to still be
yeah,
upset. Like,
like,
God.
shit. Blueberries are very special.
No, I agree. And I think that's also it's good to have perception of what you think you need. And I would
Yeah.
say 90% of us are just, and this is probably going to be taken out of context. There are some people that need to be harder on themselves. There are some people that need to like take the foot off the gas. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
feel like the three of us,
100%.
we need to like fucking chill more often than not. So
For real.
but I think it's
I
really
agree.
important that when you are vulnerable with people that you feel safe with, and
Hmm.
I think it's important to be like, hey, I need you to be gentle right now with me and provide a little bit of grace and perspective and not like push harder on me. Because, like,
Yeah.
again, n 9 times out of 10, I'm already fucking pushing my fucking face into the dirt and the concrete. There's blood everywhere. And I'm like, fucking eat it, bitch. And it's like, I need someone else to like just start strangling me. I don't need that. I need someone to be like,
Right.
here's a first aid kit. Let's take a deep breath. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
No, I've had to have that conversation with Will because Will, he's a man, like he's gonna tell me straight like how it is. And
Same as
I'm like,
Josh.
listen, I appreciate the hard love, but sometimes I just need like a soft love. I just need like some cushioning, like just a little hug. But sometimes he's just very like cut and dry to the point, and I'm like, yes, sir. Like, got it. So that's something, you just have to be open with your, support system, and hopefully they're chill with that. Yeah.
I missed a meal one day last week. I don't even remember what happened or
Yeah.
why, but Josh was like, "Good, you don't deserve to feel good today. You're a shit client." I was just
You piece
I,
of shit.
I was like complaining the next day that I was hungry. He was right in my face.
Josh
Okay.
goes,
That's
eat
funny.
it.
Damn.
Damn.
That's hilarious.
And then there's Eric, where it's like, hard things can be hard, sweetheart.
Yeah, no.
It's okay. They're there. They're there.
Good Lord. Any other final thoughts before we wrap this up and do our gratitudes? And any funny questions?
Uh, Funny questions. I'm so bad at those. I feel like I need to go on Reddit and like get a list of like funny shit to ask.
I am on it right now. So,
Okay, perfect. I will just say what do I want to say? There was one thing I wanted to say. Oh, in prep, because we're all in prep right now. A lot of people are in prep. Um, I think we should have, I get, what should we call them? Like life anchors, like little anchors to hold on to who we really are. Like 1 to 2, like non-physical goal things, or like a hobby, like you've mentioned, like reading, journaling. I know you were doing like arts and crafts, but this kind of prevents your entire self-worth from riding on your check-ins or your conditioning or how good that week was for weight loss. Because I know I got in my head about that 100%. But if we can just like have that little life anchor to keep us pushing forward, I think that goes a long way. So that's all I'm saying.
full life
I need
support.
to get me a couple life anchors. Yeah,
Full
some
life support.
lifesavers
Meg,
here.
you need to get the fucking
But
bracelet, like when you fall, like the little like Medic Alert things. That's what you need.
fucking life alert.
Like, I need life
Yeah,
support.
and it needs to like pop out like a joint. Life alert. It's like a pre-roll. All right, ready to go. God,
That's
give me some
awesome.
funny questions, Ash. Give me a. Let me see if I
I
can
got
find
you. So,
one.
what is the most trivial thing which you have a strong opinion about?
That seems deep. Okay.
But it's got to
I
be
got
trivial.
Um.
I got that.
Huh?
I got
Laura,
the answer.
go.
Treating people nicely, like even if it's a random stranger, like treating everybody with respect. I don't give a shit about like politics, religion, any of that type of stuff. Like y'all can have your own beliefs in that. I have no strong feeling towards one direction, but I do feel strongly about how you treat people and how you make people feel.
I wouldn't say that's trivial. That's pretty deep there, Socrates. But I
Yeah,
respect
man.
it. Mine was going to be about
I would.
pickles, but that's fine.
Yours what?
Mine was going to be about pickles, but that's fine.
Oh,
You can be Miss
I thought you meant
America.
something like you feel strongly about that. I feel strongly about
I
that.
feel strongly about pickles. If you like bread and butter, you're a piece of shit. Like, that's just how I.
I was gonna go that it's criminal to wear socks to bed or to fuck with socks on. But I mean, be
I
nice to
agree,
people.
Meg.
I
God
like
damn it.
that. Damn,
Laura's like
Laura.
up here. Meg and I are like in the swamps, just stewing.
I was like, wait a sec. Maybe I listened to that question wrong.
I'm just saying dill pickles or garlic pickles. The pickles should be salty. They should not be sweet. If you like sweet pickles,
Oh
like
yeah, that's weird. No.
yeah, that's nasty. Then if you like if you like bread and butter pickles, then that makes me think that you like eating wet socks. Like that's just like I don't know why, but like that's gross. You're gross.
Dude, I was cleaning the shower out at the apartment and I had socks on when I was doing that. Oh, wet socks. I think wet
Nasty.
socks are my number one. I hate
I
it.
I hate wet feet in general, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
Like
Dude, the
if you're
most
like
that's
walking
fucking
around
miserable.
dry.
barefoot and you step in something wet, I'm like, mm.
Yep, you're just like, all right, this is where I sign off. Like, just take me.
Take me, God.
That's
Yep.
so funny. That's so funny. One more fun question before we do our gratitudes. If you could be a mythical creature, what would you be and why?
Mm. What are mythical creatures?
Can I be a centaur?
Yes. Yes,
That's
you
a
can
good
be a
one.
centaur. You can be a centaur.
Mm, yes.
Damn. Um, Shit. I think I'd be a unicorn. I feel like they're a bit savage, they're pretty, they're magical, but I think that they can be dangerous too. So like aesthetics, violence, it's a good balance.
I see
And they're
you.
pretty.
Would
Yeah, like a unicorn.
your unicorn be able to fly, or are you like a Pegasus unicorn, or just like a regular unicorn?
Pegasus.
I would want to fly.
Okay, so like a Pegasus unicorn.
Yes.
I got you. I
Yeah.
wanted to
I
be a
like
hippogriff
that.
because it's like
A
horse-like,
what?
but can also fly. A hippogriff?
What a hypocrite?
Man,
Oh, I don't know what that is.
y'all are letting down the Harry Potter people. Huh?
Eric says
Wait, what is the
Eric feels strongly about roundabouts.
He
They
does. He really
are
does.
great and there aren't enough of them. Okay.
Yeah. All
wait, what
right.
is the three-headed dog? What is that one called?
I don't know. I just know his name was Fluffy in Harry Potter, but I don't know if he actually has like a.
Or a kraken? Aren't those the big sea monster guys? The krakens?
Yeah, I think there are various things, but that's a hippogriff. It's like a eagle thing, but it's also a horse thing, so it can fly, but also like stomp on you. I don't know.
I'm keeping unicorn. Damn, what the fuck?
Dude, it's badass. I think hippogriffs are
How
cool.
do they how do they how do they horse eagle, how do they procreate? How do they do
I
that?
would
How did we
assume
get this
like
far?
a horse, because it's got a horse butt, so I would assume it has like a horse penis or a horse vagina. But like maybe they like lay eggs too.
Can I rewind for a second and go back to my what I feel strongly about now that I had a second to think about
Yes.
this? I'm on the same page. All blueberry, all blueberry muffins should have crystallized
Agreed.
sugar on top
There
of
we
them.
go, Laura. A normal
Yes.
answer.
There we go.
I
Fuck
was
being
between
sent to people who need a solar.
I was between that and all chocolate chip cookies should be soft baked, but we'll go with the blueberry muffin one. But I do feel equally as strong about both.
Blu-ray. I
Roast
agree.
that.
That was a good one. The other one, it was nice, but like this is better.
I was
This is
like,
better.
Laura, come join us in the swamp. Come fester with us.
Come to the shit side.
Come to this shit. Love it. All right. And on a good note, what are we thankful for? Not everything.
I'm thankful
I'm
for
thankful for
growth.
life.
Yeah, that's a good
Growth.
one too.
I like
Growth,
that.
life.
Dude, yeah, just grateful for life and like all its chapters. Like I think this move really showed me that I am scared of pushing out of my comfort zone. I didn't think I was, but then I was like, oh fuck, like I am. Like this is a big change to me and I actually love it. You know, I kind of like this just living life thing. Like it's cool. Like I don't know.
It's like,
And
I'm
I'm just
grateful to
grateful
be
to live
alive.
life. I'm just loving life. What
I love that.
about you, Ash?
I am thankful and grateful that my mom is home and out of the hospital. And I'm
Hell
thankful
yeah.
that she is getting the help that she needs in terms of eating better and drinking more water and like doing her exercises, which I know looks different. And I'm thankful that she's able to have more mature conversations and be able to have her perception and open-mindedness so I can help her in the way that she needs to be helped and not just treat her disease, but help her to be healthier.
Can I ask how old is your mom?
She'll be 55 in June.
Oh wow, so she's young. Because
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
I was just thinking in
Yeah, she is young.
Yeah,
comparison to my mom, who is very
Mhm.
non-receptive to help,
Mhm.
and I wish she was. So you're be grateful for that.
Dude, I am because there was once
Yeah,
upon a
for
time
sure.
when she wasn't, right? She was just like, oh, it is what it is. And Eric can even attest to the fact that like I felt so helpless and brokenhearted because like I'm not saying I can heal her and fix her, but I do know and understand about health. And I understand that right now she is so focused on just accepting a disease state and not trying to improve her health.
Mhm.
And when she did
Yeah.
decide to start eating better and drinking water and exercising before the hospital, she was able to move. She was able to make a fist and move her toes, which she has not done in over 20 years. Right. And it's like she was noticing
Yeah.
improvements. But then it's like, again, not getting focused on like clients with the scale because some days she has hard days. And it's like, oh no, it's not working. And it's like, no, time out. These are a part of life. Like this
Yeah, no day
Mhm.
is perfect.
yeah, exactly. But again, her mindset was just like mine, where everything had to be perfect.
Yeah.
It was either bad or it was good, black and white thinking. So it's like being a product of that, it's like, it's so sad to know that while yes, I'm not like healed from that because I am human and have my days, to know that that is no longer just my reality where everything is black and white. It's like, dude, it,
Yeah,
it
but
actually breaks my heart for my family, especially like my
Yeah.
grandparents, because like you see them just spiraling and like because their association with therapy is like you're a fucking nut, like that will just be the rest of their life. It's just spiraling in anxiety versus just like pausing and like breathing and chilling the fuck out.
yeah.
Damn, yeah. Dude, like I love that, first of all. I'm very happy to hear that about your mom, for sure. I thought it was a big step that my mom, she like she's a fucking stress case, man, and that's where I get it from, 100%. She's like a hard worker, like doesn't leave the office until like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. She barely eats right either. But the other day she messaged me about her sleep being so shitty, and I recommended just magnesium and L-theanine. And that bitch got on Amazon Prime and ordered them so quick.
Hmm.
And then I also told her about creatine monohydrate, and I said like 5 grams. She's like, I have to take 10 capsules of L-theanine and get 5 grams of L-theanine. And I'm like, no, mom. So I literally wrote it down. Like I was like, oh God, this is like I have taken on a client, but I was just proud
Yeah.
that she wasn't just like, oh, I just have shit sleep. Like it is what it is. She was like,
And like
what can
push
I
it to
do
the
to
side.
yeah.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, making progress. Starting with supplements, kind of reverse, but whatever. It's fine. I'll take anything.
Yeah, I mean, if they're only ready to receive a portion, like that's the only thing you can
That's
get.
fine.
Mhm.
Yep.
Meet them where they're
Mhm.
at.
Exactly. Meg, did you do a gratitude, or was it was Kathy your gratitude?
Life. I'm
Like,
just grateful for life. And
grateful
that
for
my
life.
mom is taking magnesium.
That's right. Kathy, we're proud of you for taking
Fuck
magnesium.
yeah,
Laura,
Kathy.
Laura, do you do gratitude, Laura?
I said for growth.
Your growth. Okay.
Yeah, she's grateful for growth, life, and magnesium.
Love it.
All right.
Hey, ladies.
All
I
right,
love
ladies,
you.
enjoy
All
the rest of
right.
your day.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.